When most of us get on an airplane, we buckle up, prepare to arrive at our next destination, and don't think twice about it. Sometimes planes have to travel at extreme heights to get over weather storms and simply just to avoid traffic. And those oxygen masks that you always have to do a test trial run on before takeoff, well, they're designed to save you in case the plane loses oxygen at extreme heights. And while most commercial airliners cruise at an altitude between 30,000 and 40,000 feet, today we're going to talk about a mountain region that's so tall, its peak only stands 10,000 feet short of the highest altitude that a commercial jetliner will fly. And with a summit of 29,031 feet, this is the highest point on Earth above sea level. And just 100 miles or 29,031 feet below the mountain summit is Kathmandu in Nepal. While most people come to Nepal for its beautiful waterways and scenery, not to mention getting a glimpse upward at the tallest mountain on Earth, the city of Kathmandu is Nepal's capital. And the people of Kathmandu are respectful people who live a simple life, respecting one another day in and day out. And one additional thing they respect is Mount Everest. Today we're going to talk about an individual who tried to reach its peak, and now his name goes by Green Boots. But before we talk about Green Boots, let's talk about all the other hikers that have tried to reach Everest peak. In fact, over 340 people have lost their lives trying to reach the world's highest mountain. Most don't even get close to the top. In fact, in 340 cases, they never made it back alive. At over 29,000 feet, the weather can go from sunny down in the valley in Nepal to the temperatures at the summit of Mount Everest ranging from negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit during the summer to as low as negative 60 degrees in the winter months. I don't think that most people's minds can comprehend weather being this cold. And for those unlucky souls that met their demise on the mountain, well, they just remain there frozen in time. And if you thought a rescue would be possible, at 29,000 feet, even helicopters don't fly up that high. So let's go ahead and explore the story behind the boots, the story of Green Boots. So here's the story of the most famous body that lies frozen in time. On the slopes of Mount Everest, May 10th, 1996, one of the deadliest days in Everest history. That year, multiple expeditions were attempting to reach the peak of Everest via the southern and northern routes. The team included Tsewang Paljor, a police officer from Le Mans and most likely the owner of the Green Boots. His goal was to plant the Indian flag on the summit of Mount Everest. He and his team were quite aware of the inherent dangers of trying to reach the summit of Everest. Amazingly, even after reaching 27,000 feet, the party would have normally been satisfied, but it wasn't enough for Paljor, who wanted to be the first Indian to plant the Indian flag on the tallest mountain on Earth. To put that in perspective, we have Stone Mountain here in Georgia, which is 800 feet. It takes about 35 to 45 minutes to climb to the top. Everest, on the other hand, takes about 6 to 8 weeks to reach the summit. And that's if you don't die trying. Paljor and his expedition were less than 1,000 feet from the summit of Mount Everest when disaster struck. Out of nowhere, a major storm started to brew. Visibility became zero and eventually separated the expeditioners. Even though the weather had become treacherous and most would have turned back long before they did, they continued to press on, determined to reach the summit of Everest, even against the advice of their base camp, which had advised them to turn around. What isn't clear to authorities is the why they did it. What is clear is that it was the most fatal decision that they could have made because the weather progressively got worse and worse. And as the team relentlessly tried to rejoin one another, they never found each other again. Paljor's body was eventually found over 27,000 feet from the surface, curled up in an alcove. As mentioned earlier, there have been over 303 other deaths on the mountain. What makes his stand out most is his green boots that other climbers frequently pass to this day when trying to reach the summit of Everest. Recent climbers have described it to be both surreal and terrifying, knowing that their fate could end up the same way. For years, Paljor's body remained on the mountain, frequently being viewed by passerbys, a stark reminder that Everest takes no prisoners. The cave became synonymous amongst other hikers, and now the northern end is a sort of a waypoint for other hikers. Imagine hiking 27,000 feet up, taking weeks to get there, only to rest next to green boots and see his body there frozen solid. In closing, Mount Everest, also known locally as Sagarmatha in Nepal and Kuala Mangala in Tibet, is Earth's highest mountain above sea level. In 2014, Paljor's body was removed, supposedly by Sherpas, a group of people that live in the mountainous range that frequently help explorers who are traveling. The mountain is treacherous and has taken many lives, although people continue to try and climb it. Rest in peace to the victims. Please like, share, and subscribe to Where in the World is Frank and Gina? Simply type in Frank and Gina to get to our YouTube channel. God bless.